If you want to be a real powerful alpha male, what you need to do is every time you walk down the street and you see another man who might intimidate you just a little bit, what you need to do is stare into their eyes like this and never ever lose. Don't ever lose the exchange, or else you lose your respect. Okay, that's what being a man is all about. Okay, I'm joking to the 5 people watching that don't know I had great respect and saw potential. Okay, I'm joking, relax. Now I hope that if you're watching this video that it's obvious to most people that those extreme traits, of trying to be alpha, or those extreme dominance traits, are nearly always there to cover up deep insecurities. Okay, what people do, what very weak people do, they form a hard shell to project an image to keep them safe. But what is real power, and how do we avoid, receiving these aggressive behaviors? But what is real power, and how do we avoid this aggression, this aggressive antisocial behavior? Okay, I have been the one to give out these aggressive signals, and I've been on the receiving end of the aggressive signals. And I know that in both times it is due to insecurity and it's not real confidence. So, David R. Hawkins, he is the author of a book, Power versus Force. And in this book, he goes deep into what real true power is. And he compares that to force. People on the lower end of the spectrum of consciousness, they are more likely to be prideful, to be angry, and defensive. Versus, once you go up the scale of consciousness, you begin to turn to more of a sincere, loving, cooperative kindness. Now I've had the privilege to be around some truly powerful people that build multi-million-dollar companies, empires. And we can think, what kind of eyes do they have? Do they have eyes of those aggressive eyes? They might. Aggression's important. You need that aggressive drive. You have to channel it properly. But they have eyes of kindness, eyes of understanding. Right. The 2 most powerful men in history, which I'll use for an example, the Buddha and Jesus Christ. Let's use our intuition and imagine, how would they look at other people? Are they going to play pity games, trying to win those encounters? No, they look at other people with understanding and compassion. This is because understanding and having a connection, a genuine connection to other people, is far more powerful than the aggression. By looking at the map of consciousness from David R. Hawkins, we can see you are less powerful when you are on this angry, aggressive wavelength. But as you come up, as you get the courage to come up, and you begin to see that we are all one, we're all interconnected, you begin to naturally cooperate more, and the kindness and the smile begins to come up more. The person that's walking down the street who has eyes of kindness and smiles, far more powerful than the person that plays those little games. It's always the weak people playing those games. And I've got a keen intuition, and I can sense when people get insecure. I can sense the body language, try and change, and they don't. It's almost like they don't respect your space as much. And it's never secure people who act like that. It is always insecure people. And in doing my research for this video, I began to get a lot of sympathy for the people. I was like, they're just hurt. But the problem is, you can't help them because of their already aggressive and defensive nature. So even if you were to sincerely and compassionately try and point things out, you probably can't get anywhere because of the defensiveness, right? They'll take it as an attack to the ego. So Robert Greene has wrote this book, The Laws of Human Nature, And he goes quite heavily into this exact topic. Now, what he says, that any sort of extreme behavior or personality type is always a cover-up for the opposite. So extreme masculinity is a cover-up for internally feeling very weak. The excessive eye contact, with other people, it's a fear of being dismissed. A historical example of someone who had a lot of these insecure traits was old President Lyndon B. Johnson. Now, it was recorded in his autobiography that he was the kind of person to tower over people, stare into their eyes, and kind of grab people and shake them. I'm sure we've all had friends that, for some reason, find it necessary just to put you in a fucking headlock, like push you around. Okay, real strength, real confidence has no need to do those kind of things. So Lyndon B. Johnson, it was found out that he was deeply insecure about his rural background, and he didn't feel like he was good enough to be along the political elites. So he had those characteristics. Now it's very important to recognize, we often have these traits within ourselves, but realize that cooperation is truly more powerful than passive aggression. And this is only, one manifestation of being insecure. This is only one route that people take. There's many different takes. A lot of other people will be far more subtler, So rather than working on building true inner strength, building true inner resilience, healing the inner child, is the nature of these people to build a hard exterior shell. Now you can have a little bit of, I'll say, strategic empathy to recognize the hurt child within. To sort of protect yourself, to gain understanding and awareness. But at the end of the day, it's not your responsibility, because trying to help people that do not wish to be helped does not work.